have contralateral eye movement. We call this frontal eye field.
So what does mean the left side? Okay, you said.
It's only on the left side. On the right side, we don't have Broca's area. Yeah. So we speak with our left brain. Okay? We speak with our left brain. I'm going to talk about this in your final session. Okay? You will have this. So, contralateral eye movement area. We call this frontal eye field. F-E-F. Frontal eye field. It's for voluntary movement of the eyes. I told you that we have several circuits in the brainstem that control the eye movements. You know that. We have trochlear nucleus, abducens nucleus, oculomotor nucleus. So all of them control eye movement. But they all are under the control of the cortical areas. Right? Two special areas for eye movement include occipital area and frontal area. This one moves eyes involuntarily. You don't have any control on this. This one moves the eye voluntarily. So when you move your eyes, when you look at different points, when you change your gaze, you are using this one. If in a patient this area is lost, the patient is no longer able to move their eyes and fixate on different objects. The eyes are locked on some objects involuntarily. Okay? So the patient is not able to move the eyes. The eyes actually move, but they are not under the control of the person. Okay? So in order to, I told you that they are locked, for example. They may lock on this object, and the patient cannot change the gaze. Okay? In order to change the gaze, the patient should close the eyes, open it again. Maybe by chance, the eye is locked onto another object. Right? So this is involuntary eye fixation area. This one is voluntary eye control area. Okay? Above this area we have head rotation, an area specialized for movement of the neck. Another area is hand skill area, which is very important for precise movements of the hand, or the skill movements of the hands. Right? So damage to this area causes apraxia. There are several types of apraxia. One is constructional apraxia. Okay, it's like, you know, if somebody asks you to imitate a movement, like combing your hair or brushing your teeth, you can show this, okay? So you can imitate, okay, I want to brush my teeth. I want to comb my hair. I do this like this. I open my door like this. I bring the keys out, put it here, turn it, then open the door. Okay, I can show you. In a patient with apraxia, the patient is not able to show you how they do a function, how do they act, for example. Okay, so they can do this at the subconscious level. When they come to their door, they put their hand into their back pocket and they bring the keys out and open the door. But they cannot explain it for you. I mean, they cannot show you the action voluntarily and consciously. We call this apraxia. Okay? So, these are some specialized areas in the motor cortex. A special type of neurons in the premotor cortex is called mirror neuron. You know mirror neuron? You know mirror? Yes. You stand in front of the mirror and you can see yourself. Okay? So, we can expect that for any movement, for any purposeful movement, we need activity of some neurons. For example, if you want to move your hand, you can expect that the planning should happen in the premotor cortex and also in the supplementary motor cortex. This plan should go to the primary motor cortex. In which area? Hand area. Because you are moving your hand, okay? So the movement shouldn't involve face area of the cortex. Then neurons should be activated. This activity should go down through the corticospinal tract to the spinal cord, right? Then alpha motor neurons in the spinal cord should activate the muscles. So we can expect that before a movement, we need action potential in the cortex, right? Okay. So action potential in motor neurons of the cortex are associated with a movement in the body. Some neurons are activated before the action, and also when you see somebody else doing the same action. Okay? We call them mirror neurons. So mirror neurons are activated both before performing a movement or observing a movement. Okay? So, for example, when you write something in your brain, some neurons are activated. It makes sense. You need this activity for movement. But when you see that your friend is writing, okay? Your friend is writing, the same neurons are activated. We call them mirror neurons. They are important for understanding of the actions performed by others and for learning of new skills. Okay? So these are mirror neurons. An example is here. So a neuron in the premotor cortex, so they are present in the premotor cortex, right? A neuron in the premotor cortex is being recorded. Action potential can be recorded. So this brain is for the monkey, okay? This monkey. So action potential is being recorded, and at the same time, the monkey cracks a peanut. Okay? So it performs an action. Action is breaking the peanut. For breaking the peanut, this neuron should be activated first. Okay? So the neuron is activated. Signals go to the corticospinal tract and then to the muscles of the arm, and then the monkey can do this. The same monkey observes that somebody else cracks the peanut. Only observes. The same neuron is activated. The monkey hears that somebody is cracking the peanut. So again, the same neuron is activated. Okay, this neuron is located in the motor area of the cortex, not in the sensory area. You know? For observing, we need the occipital cortex. But this neuron is in the frontal cortex. For hearing, we have temporal cortex. But this neuron is in the premotor area of the frontal cortex. Right? So this means this neuron receives information from the occipital cortex and from the temporal cortex, and it's activated whenever an action means something special. Cracking of the peanut. Okay? So we call this mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are both for understanding of the movement. So when the monkey hears the sound, it understands that the peanut was broken. Right? So for understanding of the movement. And for learning the movement. Maybe you can show something to the monkey, and the monkey can learn to do that. Only by observing. Okay? For example, I did something like this. I provided monkeys with 2 boxes okay? And then I put a key knot into one of them and then close the box. Okay? Then I change the position. Okay? So the monkey only observed. So after that, I actually put them close to the monkey. So the monkey didn't know how to open the box. Okay? Try to handle that, but it wasn't able to open it. Then I showed him. I showed that if you want to open the box, you should, for example, open the box like this. Okay? So the monkey observed that and learned that. After that, he did the same action. Okay? And this way, open the box and remove the peanut. So, when somebody learns something only by observing. Okay? So, mirror neurons are involved. When you go to the hospital and observe a nurse or another physician taking an IV line. Okay, you observe that, okay, they prepare the needle like this, then they actually applied some alcohol here, and then they fasten the tourniquet, and they hit the arm, and they actually got the IV line by this angle. Okay, so you can observe a course of action, and by observing this for several times, you can do the same thing. Okay, so all of these are performed by mirror. So, actually I finished the main material for you, but I have some supportive material if you want. So, a recording from primary motor cortex. Okay, you can see action potentials from the primary motor cortex. What is the action? Extension of the wrist. Okay, so two neurons are recorded. One is for flexion, the other neuron is for extension. Right? So, before the movement is like this. Just immediately before the movement, you can see increasing the firing rate in this movement because it's about to be extended. Okay, so in order to extend the wrist, immediately before that, we need higher activity in neurons involved in extension. Right? Another one. So what happens to the flexor neuron? Let's see. It's the resting state. Nothing happens here. Right? Now let's see another one. Extension against a load. Okay? Resting state, higher activity. Just before the movement, we need more activity. So in the resting state, the hand should keep the weight. Okay? So in the extensor neuron, we need more activity than the flexor neuron. And for moving away, we still need more activity. Okay? So here we have more activity, then more activity again, much more activity, right? So remember I told you that primary motor cortex neurons determine the force of action, the direction of the action, right? The number of muscles that are activated. Another one. Extension in favor of this weight. Okay. Before the movement, during the movement. Again, before the movement, we need flexor neurons to be activated. Why? Flexor should kick the weight. right? When we have the extension, we should only release the hand because the weight itself can extend the wrist, right? So now you can see that the flexor is released. We are performing extension, but the extension neuron doesn't activate. Right? Everything makes sense? Good. Another one. I told you that supplementary motor cortex is involved for the sequence of movement. The person wants to do a sequence of movement in the fingers. For example, this sequence. Okay? Not a simple sequence like this. This one, no. This one, for example. Maybe, okay? And the person wants to repeat it. So, for this sequence, we need supplementary motor area. And also primary motor cortex. Supplementary motor area plans the movement. Primary motor cortex do the movement. Does the movement, right? So, first, consider a simple movement. Only this. Okay? What happens in the brain? Left hemisphere, right hemisphere. The person is performing the action with the right hand, with the left hand. What do we expect? When the left hand is performing the action, activity should be in the right hemisphere. Which area? M1, S1. Why S1? Yeah, because in the movement, you are moving the fingers, proprioceptive signals come back to the brain, and they involve the supplementary motor, the somatosensory area of 1. And also M1 for moving the finger, right? Then we have complex movement, right? Let's see what happens. Okay? Supplementary motor area, primary motor cortex. Primary motor cortex on the opposite side, but supplementary motor area on both sides are activated. I told you that supplementary motor area works bilaterally. So both of them should be activated in order to do this sequential movements. And because we are working with the left hand, the right primary motor cortex and the right somatosensory cortex are activated. The last situation. We only imagine that we are performing that sequence with the left hand. We are not doing the action. Only we think about that. Okay? When you only think about that, supplementary motor areas on both sides are activated. But the primary motor cortex is not activated. Because you are thinking, you are planning for that, and the action hasn't started, right? So, for planning and for thinking, you need the supplementary motor area on both sides. But for performing, because you don't want to perform the action, then you don't need the primary motor cortex and supplementary. Got it? Now, here. Primary motor cortex was not active. Okay? Premotor cortex can do complex movements. Stimulation in these areas may cause complex movement, like this or like this. Okay? So activation, electrical activation of the premotor cortex may cause complex movement. And the last slide. This one. I told you that the premotor cortex is important for guiding movements in response to sensory stimulation, like the red light and the Green light, remember? Here, the monkey is presented with a stimulation, like the direction that it should move. Direction determines leftward movement or rightward movement, okay? So let's see. Okay, prepare to move to the left, but it shouldn't move now. It should be wait for the permission, okay? So, prepare to right, this one is active. Move now, it stops. What does it mean? It means that some cells in the premotor cortex are only active when we prepare for movement, when we plan for movement. And during the action, they are not active because the action should be performed by the primary motor cortex. So the premotor cortex is only involved for planning. Right? Some neurons are activated when we want to move to the left. Others are activated when we get a stimulation that learn us to move to the right. Okay? So planning for different directions. Okay. Everything is written also for you here. You can read them. Okay? So thank you so much for your patience.